Yeah. Okay, so it's saying preparing on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, and let me hit record on here. So, and it's recording on here. So, this is exciting. So we better do the professional. We're live. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I've got YouTube running as well, so I get the double sound. So we better do a professional introduction, even though we all know each other. So for all the students watching or anybody else that's tuned in on YouTube, then this is our head of the association, and Rickson Gracie and Helio Gracie. I think that's fair to say. Coral Belt has been awarded the best Jiu-Jitsu instructor 2005, and we know very well that is, and that's Master Pedro Sauer. Welcome. Thank you very much for doing it and sitting down with us.
Thank you very much.
Very much appreciated.
My pleasure, amigos. I was honored to be not on the mat, but trying to share some thoughts, some hopes, and try to keep everybody here positive. So I'm very glad. Thank you to invite me, man. Thank you for the.
And we were just talking just before, we can kind of carry on with that. Really, you're saying some of the schools reopening out in China and South Korea now, and doing small groups and stuff.
Yes. I'm a part of a group in WhatsApp. I think we have probably 150 people there, but I was in this group is our red belts, coral belts, a lot of people that elder people, a lot of black belts, a lot of champions. So everybody's kind of share things that's been happening. And I received yesterday some WhatsApp videos, and there was a guy in China talking about the reopening of the China Academy. And he told me he's on the first week. It was a guard, it was a police officer at the door, in China, right? So, and he just make sure there was only X amount of people per square meter. And after if the school's very tiny, he couldn't put too many people. So he make pairs, and what they did, they all wear mask, and they have like a normal class. They have physical contact, normal class.
Wow.
That's for the adults. They start with pairs, 2 people. And what they did say, if you live in the same neighborhood and you drive together, you guys are gonna stay together. If you're a husband and wife, you stay together. If you're a brother and sister, stay together. Try to kind of match up people. And on the first week, they avoid rotation. So you arrive in the academy, you took your class, you got your partner, the instructor kind of perform the mechanics, the techniques, and you go there and you practice only with the partner within the switch. They avoid and shake hands. They all line up and bow, but not shaking hands. And they avoid, they did like hands before, washing hands after every class. What else? They come up with some procedure like this on the first week. And after the first week, everybody got back to normal, and people start walking to school. It's like no big deal, pairing up, training, rolling. So it's like only kids class is not allowed yet by government order.
Okay.
Running.
Interesting.
When you were talking about that, Master Sauer, I couldn't help but think about the face masks, and I wonder how long until tatami or somebody starts bringing out the ranked face masks. The blue, purple, brown face masks.
Yes, sir.
We need to.
That's how you're supposed to train now, huh?
We need to get you a coral belt version, black and red.
That would be a cool idea. That would be a cool idea. Start making masks for a little while, On the end, I believe we're just going to have memories of the situation. And I'm not sure if you guys watched the first video that I did in my house when I was doing the bike, recording the bicycle, the motorcycle. I totally believe that this time that we kind of was forced for, not because somebody told us, it was like some kind of calamity. So we got put together in an environment that, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a roommate, if you have your parents, your wife, your family, whatever, you're there inside of this circle. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been almost for 2 months with my wife. And I cannot tell one argument that I had. I cannot tell one situation that I was uncomfortable. You know, I think that what I did in my mind, he was like, man, if I'm going to be 2 months, 3 months, who knows? Good. You know, I don't want to be fighting. I don't want to be arguing. I don't want to come up with anything. So I made an extra effort, and I'm pretty sure my wife did the same too. And in the bottom line, I can see that when we come back socially, when you start to socialize back again, I'm pretty sure we're going to be 10 times better people than we were before. It's just my thought.
Yeah, it's a good thought. And yeah, I was going to say, it must be strange for you not traveling, because you are, for those that don't know, you are Mr. Travel. You must have more air miles than BA.
Every weekend, man. Every weekend.
Did it seem strange? Did it seem strange? Did it seem a bit different?
You know, I got to be honest. I prepare myself for that. When I heard that the quarantine, when I heard the lockdown, and I heard the measurement that was taken, I prepare myself in a way. Say, you know what? I'm gonna take a big deep breath. It's like, you know, when Rickson was a little kid and his brother used to roll him on a carpet. You know what I'm saying? I've been putting the carpet since I'm a kid. Now imagine what to be to grow up as a white belt, 14, 15 years old, and you have to see Rickson Gracie every day. So I was on the carpet every day. Now I can have feelings. I can have, like, you know, hey, no desperate, no panic. Don't have to worry about it. It will pass. Just take your steps. Do whatever you can to make the situation better. Don't complain about nothing. Try to exercise. Try to plant stuff. That's what I did. I'm in the garden every day, all day, planting stuff. That's what I got. I hurt my hips, kick and try to move in logs. Still think I'm a kid. It's like, oops, come on, professor, you got a true slip disc. Don't do that. Oh, I remember that now.
Professor, you said that you're watching lots and lots of different videos, trying to keep your jiu-jitsu mind active. I mean, for you, it's easy to see what's good videos, what's bad videos. But for some of those new people out there, you know, what would you recommend? Obviously, the Pedro Sauer Association videos are fantastic, but anything else that you recommend people look at?
I recommend. I honestly, myself, I'm kind of spoiled in a visual, spoiled, and I'm spoiled physically. You know, I received this kind of the instruction by a really old man. So I kind of, I just have a spoiled feeling. So I believe that the videos that we have in the Pedro Sauer Association, it is super clean, it is simple, and it's doable. Anybody can do that. Nobody can say, oh, I cannot do that. Oh, that move is too difficult for me. That's not gonna. So we can all do that. And after you get yourself spoiled with that, you can go to any other videos. Rickson, what's the bald guy? John, bald guy. You know, that guy speaks such a beautiful English with a very good explanation. And I honestly, when I see the guy doing moves, I see very similarity with moves that we're already doing. He just got a very good way to explain, very good English, very peaceful, very talented. That guy's a great instructor. So I advise anybody to watch those videos too. And any other video that you watch is just to keep your mind kind of flowing and keep you spoiled visually, not physically, but visually spoiled. And when you get back to the mat, my friend, we're going to have so much material in our hands and so much desire, because we know how important jiu-jitsu is for our growth as a society. It makes us better people. I've been saying this for how long about jiu-jitsu, social jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
As long as I've ever heard you talk.
People make fun of me when I was a kid. I used to tell, man, I was a pretty wild kid growing up. And jiu-jitsu kind of calmed me down, make me be I was a completely different person before jiu-jitsu and after. And I know the benefits of socially. I know how incredible jiu-jitsu can be. Now, with this quarantine, I'm so thankful to have jiu-jitsu here because I can articulate everything here. You know, when you're in a home in a quarantine, we got a lot of time in your hands, right? So the jiu-jitsu help you to kind of put those things in perspective, help you to navigate. And when we come back, we're going to come back with so much more appreciation. It's not just the physical, but the moral, you know, the integrity, the discipline. Hey, now I feel myself as a better person now because jiu-jitsu. So I think we're going to go back stronger with better quality people. You're going to watch this, better quality people. And I think the jiu-jitsu is going to, now is a different story between the jiu-jitsu that's very aggressive, very kind of physical, and the jiu-jitsu that we follow curriculum by the book that you cut in slices and allowed us to develop time to understand jiu-jitsu, instead do jiu-jitsu. In our group of guys, most of guys that train jiu-jitsu with us, they went from the white to blue, blue to purple, went to the whole curriculum. We got an understanding. We understand mechanics because the mechanics being presented to us very simple. We never require people, man, for you to do this move, we got to get in the gym and get a little bit more fit. So we don't have moves like that. So every single person who get that kind of knowledge, we start to understand jiu-jitsu in a way that help us to understand life in a very similar way. And those are the social benefits, man.
You said that jiu-jitsu helped to calm you down. You said that you was maybe a little bit of a crazy kid. Do you think that jiu-jitsu with anybody would have calmed you down, or do you think it was jiu-jitsu training with the Gracie family that calmed you down?
I think
did you realize you were part of something so big?
Yep, you know what I think? Jiu-jitsu calmed me down using with Helio and Rickson, and of course everybody there in the school. Because before jiu-jitsu, I did taekwondo for 2.5 years. I did boxing for a couple of years, and that didn't calm me down at all. I was very aggressive when I was doing boxing. So I think I only calmed down when I realized how vulnerable I was. I was grappling when I was training jiu-jitsu. I never understood how vulnerable I was. But when I start feeling Helio Gracie, 60 years old, kicking my butt, you know, Hoyle, 9 years old, kicking my butt, you know, Hoyce, 8 years old, when I start to feel about those little kids that were giving me trouble, you know, growing up and giving me trouble, you know what? I better start respecting the old people, because this man, he's 60 years old, can kick my butt. Oh, by the way, now he's 70, he's still kicking my butt. So that helps you to kind of put things in perspective, be more respectful. And I believe that jiu-jitsu can make, now, is a jiu-jitsu that we need to do jiu-jitsu with integrity. If we kind of come up with thugs and we have a club and we start, you know, taking all the formalities away, we start having like what happened that, yeah, we're going to still doing jiu-jitsu, but we're not going to get the quality. We're not going to get the most important part of jiu-jitsu, that is transform our personality. You know, make our personality better, make us better people. Now we can have a win-win situation for both. You can ask to any of you guys, girlfriend or wife, how I was before or after jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, a lot more calm now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Much better. Much better.
We're better people, man. We're going to get back a lot better. I'm pretty sure that we are talking about something that's completely invisible. Nobody ever thought about that. But at the same time, humans are relentless. And we come up since the cave time. On the early days, we socialize. Cave time, we socialize. We are not single people from, you know, so humans, we will adapt. It's going to have some kind of adaptation, and pretty soon you're going to forget about it. Do you remember a few months ago, Amazon was burning on fire?
Yeah. Amazon was on fire, Brexit, LA was on fire.
Do you remember this stuff? Amazon, and I was like, my gosh, Amazon is a rainforest. How can it be fire?
I just realized, Master, we've heard you talk about before the roll him up in the carpet story, but maybe not everybody that's listening's heard that story before, so they might not get the reference. Do you want to just explain the carpet?
Yep. Well, the explanation was when Rickson was young, Halls, Horion, Helson, they used to have a huge rug, but then I mean huge rug. I had those rugs. I had to toss those rugs in the trash because they got mold. But those rugs, Rickson used to lay down and they used to roll him over. Can you imagine a little kid inside of a rug? You cannot even breathe. You cannot expand. You cannot do nothing. And imagine the old brother, Helson. Can you imagine having Helson as an old brother? Rickson was the best. Rickson had poor guy. Man, growing up with Helson as an older brother. I grew up with Helson as an old friend. And I'm telling, that guy was a challenge. Great guy. One of the best friends you can have. Honest, honorable person, but he was wild too. It was a pretty intense.
So was it just Rickson that used to get that treatment, or did everybody get rolled up in the carpet at different times?
A lot of everybody, my friend, everybody. They used to mess with people, man. I remember being under the old mats. It was bad, man. The old mats. It was the same size mats we have now, 1 meter by 2 meters, but it was made by kind of, how called those leaves, kind of, they mix with maybe horse hair, some leaves. They used to kind of mash everything and cover with some kind of vinyl, some kind of cotton vinyl cover. That's the old match. If you see the old tatamis, green, the old ones, they were all 100% cotton. Those things too, man. I remember being underneath of the thing. When you put on top, the thing just goes like this, falls around you. You know?
Yeah.
And you might have your head, or you might have underneath of the thing. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't get out of there. You just have to relax and breathe. And when you after a little bit, you're fine. So Jiu-Jitsu allowed you to put remember the little tube that I talked? Did I ever told you guys about that?
Yeah.
That's the carpet store. That comes from the carpet store.
It's great. So I think, growing up doing jiu-jitsu with all of those amazing people, it's never going to be repeated. You've got access to so much information. But I think one of the questions that the guys had written down earlier was around, how often did you used to have to get involved with like the challenge matches and those sorts of things when you were back in Brazil? Was that a regular occurrence, or was that for all students, or was that just saved for some? Or
well, think about this. Every student at the Gracie Academy, when you are a little student there, that when you're somebody that you come to the academy, you're just a student, that's one thing. But when you get hooked in Jiu-Jitsu, that we all do get hooked in Jiu-Jitsu, well, we spend more hours on the mat. When you spend more hours on the mat, you start getting better. Pretty soon as people saying, oh, this guy got a great this, oh, this guy got a great that, oh, this guy's got a great foot lock, oh, great guard. So what happened that everybody who develop some kind of skills and grow up under Helio Gracie, eyes watch, and Rickson Gracie, imagine what to be for you to be in Rio de Janeiro and say, hey, today a black belt from Helio Gracie came here, and I make him say uncle. I tap him. So that's what we used to spend. I used to visit all the schools when I was a kid in Brazil. I was a purple belt, brown belt, black belt, and I used to visit a whole bunch of schools because I used to have good, I was friendly with other people. So I walked there, but at the same time, I was Helio Gracie black belt, Rickson Gracie, one of the top guys. Everybody wanted a piece of Pedro, that's how I was. Every time I walk in the school, I knew I have to fight, but I always fight like this. I was always friendly. I was invited to go back, and I never disappointed my teacher. I never, ever. Rickson and Helio, they knew, man, if somebody come in, if Helio asked me to do to fight against, well, look when I fight Mr. Utah, I didn't want to fight the guy 100 pounds heavier than me, but the moment I got Helio on the phone, and talked to him for like 5 minutes, I was ready to do it.
He obviously instilled a lot of confidence in people.
Defend the name. We have to defend the art, not just the name. It was the name of the art. The art was so important because when we came to America, Jiu-Jitsu was zero. It was double zero. It was none schools, zero schools. Home was teaching in the garage. And we used to drive at nighttime in every Taekwondo school, karate school, Kung Fu school. And we sit in the car, look at those guys are doing over there. They're punching the air. They're kicking the air. And we are here sharing a pizza from Domino's Pizza because we don't have money to eat. That's how it was.
So, you were you a full-time teacher of jiu-jitsu before you left Brazil and come to America?
Just for 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah, 1 year I was a full-time teacher. I left. I was a broker, and in Brazil the stock markets was stopped by a presidential order. He decided to freeze the economy, so he froze every banking account. 100% of the banking accounts got frozen in the country. So that means money to buy stocks. The stock was froze. So after 1 month with frozen stocks, I had people calling me, Pedro, you want to come to give me a class, jiu-jitsu class? I say, hey, I'm not an instructor, no, but I want you to teach. I like the way you do this. So I had an older guy, his name was Castellones, Dr. Castellones, and some other doctor that I forgot his name now. He's going to come back here. And they asked me to teach private class. And I still have a bill. They pay me for private class, and I received the bill. I still have it.
Wow.
My first class.
It's amazing.
First class that I taught.
So it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision that you was going to start teaching jiu-jitsu. It's maybe more of an accident.
It was an accident. That's exactly what it was. Those old people ask me, and I used to say, why you ask me? You got Helio, Grandmaster Helio's right there. But they used to say, no, but Pedrinho, you do some things a little bit different. You do something. And I think that's something that Helio used to tell me that no wonder during my whole life in Jiu-Jitsu, I don't think I never been in class with Helio Gracie and Rickson Gracie, where Helio or Rickson was showing a move, and then they call me to be his partner. And I think that's another thing that I'm very grateful, because I received the instruction by feeling.
Yeah.
I never kind of went aggressive. I never resist. I'm comfortable by nature. I'm comfortable. If you're gonna put the hand on my neck, I don't mind it. If you're gonna put me in an bar, I'm gonna tap early. I'm not gonna resist. So I let the move happen. And I think that's very important that I got from Helio. And I think I try to pass this to everybody, is how to kind of let the move flow. Let the beginning, let the middle, let the end. After you do a few times that way, you try to intercept it. You try to find something in the middle. But if every move we talk about, you put a little resistance, that little resistance that you're giving to me is make me utilize extra muscle, extra effort to do it, and you're resisting. So every move that I do is kind of a little bit in a sweat, kind of in a hard work kind of mentality. If I give myself the habit to work smart with no resistance first, but based on angles. Oh, what about if I move my elbow this way a little bit? Oh, got a little bit lighter now. Oh, this is a little bit harder now. Oh, I prefer this way. The moment we start discovering these small little increments, we can go back and add speed. And that's what I think our group of guys, most of our group of guys that train in our Jiu-Jitsu Association, that's what I think we got the difference.
Interesting.
Do you think that was part of what kind of made your jiu-jitsu like a little bit different? Obviously everyone's is a little bit different, but kind of made yours different from being that uki all the time, being the body, helping out? Or do you think there's anything else that kind of contributed to that, or that made you find your own style?
Well, I think I have like an engineer mind doing it to my family. I said a few times before, my family used to own gear factories. And my grandfather was a genius in gears calculation. You know about the sliding ruler? You ever heard about sliding ruler?
Mm-hmm.
Calculation? It's a ruler like this big, has a little strip here, you pull it, goes back, has a little transparent things that you can move that way. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've seen them, but I've never used
Sliding
them.
ruler?
Yeah.
Well, I use that. I used to slice. I used to, so I know how to use the sliding ruler. Apparently, there are histories of my grandfather making calculations of sliding ruler without the ruler.
Wow.
And this guy, he designed 35,000 design of gears and trademark every single one.
Wow.
So all the gears was made by calculation. So that means when you put a gear in a car, or when you put a gear in a bus, in a truck, on a navy, on a ship, in a shipyard, on the farm, if something goes bad, you have to go back to get the design to build another gear. And that's what my grandfather did since 1913. So I think this kind of gear mentality passed to myself here. And I combine the gear mentality with Helio Gracie's strategy and my mom's manners.
I remember you talking about, you don't think of, you think of the body like a skeleton, right? So is that the gears like coming through in the way that you think about, moving somebody or you're moving yourself under somebody? Are you thinking about the skeleton?
You have to separate the person, because the reason that came to me first is like I said, imagine growing up with Rickson Grace every day on the mat. So that means every night you're going to look at the guy and you're going to pair up with him and you're going to grapple. So the moment you shake his hands, you already know that you're going to lose. You already know that you're going to get, because you've seen the person there. But if you kind of forget about the person and you imagine only skeleton, you got a chance to be a little bit more funny, because the fear factor comes out a little bit. And that's what the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu comes. So I believe I use this all the time with Helio, with Rickson, with everybody. When I play with people training, I don't think who it is. I think about the skeleton. And if I feel uncomfortable, I tap. Oh, hey, okay, stop. If I feel good, I try to hold the skeleton or hitchhike the skeleton. But that way, I don't have the fear factor. When we train, we don't have the intimidation. Oh my gosh, I got a roll of Henner. Oh my gosh, I got a roll of Hero. Oh my gosh, I got a roll of Rickson. You already lost it. Now we're just going to be playing for skeleton. So like that way, you can try to develop your game a little bit more. You're going to get caught no matter what, but you're going to be a little bit more funny. And as long as you're being smart and you be attempt to details, you're going to know exactly when the submission starts. That's another very important part. Exactly where was the mistake? What is the line? When you cross the line, the mistake was you no longer could go back.
Did you ever like study the body in any, like a doctor? Did you ever try and study like joints and things so that you understand better how they work and how you break them?
I did. And not just did chickens. I used to grab a chicken and move the chicken.
Yeah.
Because it's very similar. And I see the twist. I twist that way. And it's very similar to the human. And I remember when I was a kid, growing in a school, it was a full skeleton. It was a human skeleton, full skeleton. And I used to, about the skeleton used to have wires holding the thing. But I used to grab the skeleton and twist it. I didn't. And one thing that I remember that I never want to do it, that's kind of funny. Think about this, guy. If you look at a skeleton, imagine to look at skeleton. You'll be comfortable to grab and hold and do all kind of manipulation. But my question is, you'll be comfortable to close your fist and punch the skeleton in the head?
Yeah.
This is too much
No
damage.
way, yeah? No way, huh? So that's what was another extra factor that I kind of imagine. You see, when you kind of get the strikes a little bit out of your game, not out of your game, you should learn strikes 100%. You should know everything. It's great to know. But imagine this: if you can avoid the strike in any situation, look how much easier your life could be. Just that. Imagine if you don't avoid. So you went to a bar and you see this something might happen to you, or somebody kind of touch your girlfriend somewhere, and you're gonna go for a little scuff with this guy. Are you going to close your fist and punch the guy in the head, in the face, by having the skull in your mind? Or you're just going to try to control the skull and grab, hey, my friend, if you touch my girlfriend one more time, man, you go ahead and going to apologize to her right now. Look at the outcome, how much easier it can be when you avoid the strikes.
I think said with your manners, most people would probably listen.
The deal is that when you have good manners and you comfort in your skin, you can exercise those manners in the worst situations possible. Because I'm not afraid of my physical body. You know, I can look at somebody like a monster, UFC, Brock Lesnar, and I can see the guy. I don't have to be afraid to talk to this guy. I can have the same polite manners, look at him, but tells the truth. If he done something wrong, I can say, listen, you touched my wife, or you did this. I can very easily talk to somebody without to be scared of my physical body. And that's the social benefit that Jiu-Jitsu gives to us, that it is priceless.
So do you think that confidence to be able to, to do that comes from day one in the academy, or after how long do you think that confidence starts to come through?
On the beginning, every Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, on the beginning, you arrive with a good confidence in the academy. Right in the beginning, your confidence goes like this. Your confidence goes down to the drain. I don't care who you are. You can be a tough guy. But the moment you see a small person make you say uncle countless times, or the moment you see a girl put in an awkward position, you are like, you can pretend that you're tough. You can pretend you're still a tough guy back in the neighborhood. But deep here, hey, I got to be careful of this. That's stuff on the streets. This girl could get me. This little guy could get me. So I think we are, every human being, when you start Jiu-Jitsu, your confidence is going to drop down. But what happened? Pretty soon you're going to build back again. And you're going to build back a real, honest confidence, not a fake one. Because at the moment on, we're going to be respectful with women. We're going to be respectful with older, elderly people. You're going to respect kids. And we're going to have our own ability. We're going to develop ability. But the bottom line that we're going to be, our respect is going to be way broader. We're going to open up the respect. And for human society, I think this is such an incredible benefit to prepare people for the longevity of life, right? Because the life is so challenged as we see it right now. Look at us, everybody in quarantine, right? We are missing things that we've done for fun, but we're not desperate, pulling our hair, crying. We're not in the situation. We are missing things that we do for fun, but we know we're going to get back. It's going to happen. We'll see better people.
Definitely.
What's the, apart from this, what's the longest time that you've spent off of the mats in the past?
This is the longest time ever.
Really?
When I got married, not even my honeymoon, not even, my honeymoon, I took my gi. I did.
So this is like a honeymoon for Mrs. Sauer.
Yep. But, I got married twice, and both times that I got married, my gi was on my bag. It's sad to say, but I gotta say, it was. My wedding, when I got married my first time, that's kind of funny because my mom was a very well-known, my mom was like a society, like a high society in Rio de Janeiro. My dad was a high society guy, so he used to have a very nice circle of friends. So my mom's, Miriam Sauer and Freddie Sauer's son is getting married. So my mom had 2,000 invitations, something like that. My wedding was like almost 4,000 people. It was crazy, my first wedding. So it was crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. My mom had 2,000. I only have probably 20 friends. 20 friends. Rickson was there at my wedding. I had a whole bunch of my good buddies there at my wedding, and it was pretty fun. I don't even know. I just forgot why they brought up the wedding again. Why they brought the situation, the wedding.
I think we said what's the longest time you spent off of the mats, and you said that you took your gi on your honeymoon.
That's it. So on my wedding day, for this, I was totally high society, so I had to be go to cut my hair. You know, I was all kind of pampered, you know, nice suit. I was all kind of decked up. So I went to train jiu-jitsu, man. Back. My face was purple. When I arrived at home, my mom almost had a heart attack. She was so in panic when she saw my face. My face was red like a tomato. She gave me a shot of whiskey. I never drank whiskey in my life. She's like, you got to drink this. You look like a tomato. Horrible. Look what you've done. You're going to get married now. I was going to get married. I just took like a shot of whiskey. I almost passed out because I never took whiskey in my life. But my mom gave that to me to calm me down because I was so hyper from the academy. That was on my wedding day. So I was addicted. I got to say, I'm still addicted.
Yeah, you can see that comes through massively.
I'm still addicted. I cannot help it, man. I see jiu-jitsu as way more deeper than just fighting arts. Jiu-jitsu equalize, social equalizer. Jiu-jitsu can bring the best and can bring the worst in humans. You know, a lot of people can get, you know, if you go to the other side and you try to utilize jiu-jitsu in more physical violence or less kind of respect. If you take this away from, man, jiu-jitsu you can build horrible people, horrible thugs who can fight, take advantage, you know, hurt people, take advantage. That's horrible. But if you put a little education, good manners, a good sensitivity, you know, a good respect, you just bring some values, man.
Do you find that it still attracts, you know, bad people today in America? Because I don't know if we're just lucky, but we seem to have a really, really, really nice mix of people that walk through the door. And it seems to be now that anybody that maybe has, you know, a tiny bit of attitude or maybe not quite right, they tend to leave of their own accord. They find their own way away.
Yep.
Do you have the same thing over there, or is it?
Exactly. I think the same thing, very similar. Over here was a lot of crazy people in the beginning. And now is the craziest one. They know they already popping in. They already feel the taste. They got the AAA, awesome attitude adjustment. So they already kind of get to know. But imagine how many people in this planet, the moment that they discover the benefits, the social benefits of jiu-jitsu, imagine how many people is going to really jump in your guys' school. It's different to jump in a club, to be part of a club and be part of an academy. When you're part of an academy and you have good social values, moral values, and of course, perfect techniques and beautiful mechanics, man, tell me who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to grow up and be 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old? Man, I look at Helio Gracie, 92 years old, he tried to kick my ass. You know, I remember him training with his grandkids. I'm like, no, my gosh, you think that's exactly what I want for me? If I'm gonna be here in this planet to grow older, I don't want to grow older like, you know, complain about things that I have not done and whine about everything and calling people name and swear. No, I want to mess with my grandkids. I want to have fun with my granddaughters. You know, I want to have fun with my friends in class, students, have play, be exposed, and watch all those guys. And I got a chance now to see kids to transform. Now they're mans. You know, it used to be kids. Now they're big mans and incredible mans. And I'm like, no, I cannot even say how to say thank you. I gotta say thank you. I gotta, you know, what a blessing to be able to see that. And you guys do the same thing too. All you guys, you wait, because time flies in.
Yeah.
Enjoy, guys. I'm 61 right now, brother.
You when you traveled and you've done seminars, we've talked. I think you and I talked about it before, but like you find it really hard to sleep and stuff because you're thinking about jiu-jitsu at night. And are you thinking about like the same move over and over again? About like, okay, what are the tiny little details of this move? Or are you thinking about like, do you get disrupted when you're trying to sleep, thinking about chains of movements, or kind of how does that happen for you? What's that like?
Man, in my mind, oh my gosh, when I lay down in bed and I cannot sleep, and jiu-jitsu is the factor, oh my gosh, man, I bounce in every position they can possibly imagine. Bounce in every technique, every situation, everybody who done it, everybody who showed, everybody who counterattack, everybody who's going to try to counterattack. And I come up with a move now, later, and later. What about 5 moves for now? And it is buzz, doesn't stop. It's like a ping pong. So that's something that I definitely need to have under control, because I'm a very hyper person as inside of me, if it doesn't look like, because I got it under control because jiu-jitsu, but inside of me, my thoughts never stop. I'm always bouncing back, and I have a big family. I got a lot of students, a lot of people that I have to talk about. So think about this. If I have to think about everybody, just kids start with 7, you know, girls. So, and after that, friends, and after that is we have the association, we have the academy, we have the place in Brazil where we do the camps, the Brazil camp. So we have all this. I have family in Brazil. So all this is always a big mixer, and I try to balance everything with moderation. I just try to have a moderation for everything. Even though the thoughts, I try to put all the thoughts organized, and that's the chess player, the chess game. To do that is the ability to sometimes I use the point, so I just move a little bit. Sometimes I use the queen, I move a little bit faster over there, and I can do it over here. I can do it alone. Sometimes I use the tower. Sometimes the horse. So all these, I try to keep playing and imagine situations. And well, if I do this, what would be the pros and the cons? If I do that, what the pros and the cons? And my mind never stops. And keep going.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Like I think we all probably get a little bit of it when we see a new move, or we've been to a seminar, but I think you get it. You get the most kind of constant jiu-jitsu thoughts out of anyone.
Seminars, I try to kind of give the thought. It's not the mechanic, it's the move. The move is easy, but it's the thought, how to apply the thought to understand the move when you're doing, understand the move when somebody's doing towards you. Try to understand that. What we have the most common in all the other schools that I know is the understanding. And I've been in so many schools in my life, and I can tell this without a doubt. Everybody who trained under our curriculum, and I'm not saying the other curriculums, I'm saying we got many beautiful curriculums that I'm not comparing other curriculums. I'm just telling the curriculums that I know that will be our curriculum. When we understand that curriculum, we start to understand jiu-jitsu, not just for us, but for other people to use against us too. So we have a good understanding back and forward. And this is a very important part, because that's going to build longevity for us.
I was lucky enough to travel to Singapore, and I managed to train with Cam Sobi. And when you just described that, it was it is like another language, and I think every affiliate, every club, it seems to have the same language. So it was fantastic to walk in there, train with a bunch of new people, but straight on the mats and rolling around, predicting what's coming next. It's amazing to see that happen.
And that's the most incredible training, because think about this, and you just experienced Cam. Cam's a kid that I know Cam for maybe 5-6 years, and I see him once a year, and I tell you that kid is phenomenal, intelligent, gift, talent, and is a brilliant kid, brilliant mind, and he understood jiu-jitsu. Think about this, he understood. So, and like all you guys, our guys understand jiu-jitsu different. You tell this and Ken, if you go to any other jiu-jitsu that we have in our association, you go Mike Diaz, you go to Johnny Wanai, James Gardner, all our guys, Paul Sizemore, that Pat is no longer here with us, but Rick Landale, Kit Owen. You go to all the guys that train jiu-jitsu in our group, you can tell those guys they understood jiu-jitsu. They don't do it and repeat the moves. They make you understand too. And that's what we need to start. That's what we need to do for our students, because they will appreciate more this kind of thought of jiu-jitsu, because our students, they pay tuition, monthly tuition, that if you think about the money that we pay a month and compare to the knowledge that we receive a month, it's not even fair. That's my personal opinion. After 50 years of jiu-jitsu, the money that I pay Helio Gracie for all my instructions that I have with him, all the years that I was in his academy, it is nothing compared to the knowledge that I receive. And Helio used to tell me, one time he told me, Pedrinho, the money you give to me, I'm going to go walk in the corner over there. I'm going to blow this money off. But the knowledge I'm giving to you, you're going to carry for the rest of your life. And it took me a long time to understand that, but he was right. He was totally right. So the financial part of jiu-jitsu has to be something that every student has to know, and they know that the money that we paying in tuition is just almost a symbolic fee. It's not tuition, it's symbolic. For myself to pay $150 to take class from Grandmaster Helio in Rio de Janeiro in 1970, 74, 75, 76, it was expensive. I came from downtown. Downtown was only the class A people. Remember the story of Helio Gracie? He stayed in downtown. It was only workers. Everybody was like, workers could afford the class. So it was not cheap. But even like that, it was nothing compared to the money, compared to the benefits. It was nothing.
Priceless.
So when you talk about, you can teach people the moves, or you can kind of, teach people the, jiu-jitsu and the concepts. What's a good example of that for you? Instead of a move, what concept would you teach somebody if you were trying to explain jiu-jitsu to them?
Well, one easy explanation is the mouse trap. It's a very explanation. If you want to catch a mouse and you open up the trap and you put the cheese and you hold the trap and you go after the mouse, you try to push the mouse is going to escape every time. But if you set up the trap and leave there, you come back next day, the mouse is going to be dead there. So the key for us is to set up many traps. Let the guy come in. When he come in, you let him start, but don't let him finish. That's the strategy. It's not like, doesn't flow like that, doesn't fall from the sky, but that's the understanding that we need to get, is to understand every move that we are capable to do. Understand every move that somebody else is capable to do, and most important, capable to do on us. Because sometimes somebody can be very good in an arm bar, but I'm a very expert in defending arm bar. He can never get my arm. So I need to kind of think about the moves he can do towards me. And sometimes, because I'm a super well expert in escape from arm bar, I can let him have 10%, 20%, maybe 30% of the arm bar. When he got my arm, I can escape. That's kind of the thought that you want to put together, because the way you understand jiu-jitsu as a counter-attack. Jiu-jitsu, when you understand about counter-attack, you never have to worry about move first. You just don't need it. You let the guy move first, and you catch him after, or hitchhike. That should be the goal for all of us.
Yeah, I think it's what we all aspire to. I remember Keith Owen talking about the 1% jiu-jitsu, 1% energy or 0% energy. Yeah, it sticks in my mind.
Yep, it's very important. It's very good, and this allowed us to share jiu-jitsu with younger, weaker females. We can make everybody happy. We can make a girl, who's been, imagine to have a female that's been abused before by whatever reason, whatever form, shape, whatever, and she has all her kind of mindset, and you bring this girl to class and we empower her. In her mind first, in the first thought she's going to have is that, my gosh, I wish I knew jiu-jitsu to stop that guy who done that for me. So she's back to the past. But with a good mindset, she can completely wash it off the set, say, you know what? This happened in the past. Nothing I can do about. There's water under the bridge. But with the knowledge that I got today, that will never happen again. And that's the way how we can empower all our students. Whatever is past, my friend, forget about this water under the bridge. You never want to see the water anymore. It's gone. Now, anything else, my friend, we can change.
It's true. I'm interested in something that kind of leads on from what we were saying about concepts. When you're teaching a seminar, so often, I've seen it more than once now, that someone asks a question and you show something and okay, whatever the mood, and you teach something, and I see your black belts looking at each other and going, I haven't seen that before. I've never seen that move before. He's never shown me that before. Is it because...
I don't hide it.
No. Is it because like the variety of all the moves that are in your head are so big that sometimes they don't get a chance to get out until someone, or is it that you've used a concept and you may not have done that move exactly that way before, but when you're in that situation, is it both of those things? Is it one of the,
The most of the time, the truth of this thing is that when we see the move first, when we learn a move first, we learn to jump from point A to point B. We learn the move. What I try to do is for you to understand the move, is to get this move here between A to B, and let's dissect this. Let's go ahead and slice this move in many different slices. And let's try to put those slices now, move to the beginning of the move, middle of the move, end of the move. Let's try to move the slices, because we never know where the move is going to start. So what I try to do, I try to make it, when we talk about moves, sometimes I try to bring you back and try to get you in this right in the beginning, right in the middle. I try to put the students right in between. And a black belt is more right here, in this little area here, very close, because here he knows the black belt got so much knowledge, so much understanding. It's such a vast amount. But the little piece inside of the point A, the point B, he already know. The little piece is like, oh, I never thought about that. That's the point, man, is to create those light bulbs, for you to have light bulbs in every technique. Imagine if you say, man, if you got this light bulb here, when somebody's in cross body, do you think I have light bulb in the mount position too? Back position, passing the guard, defending, and Jiu-Jitsu flourish. That's the way to make Jiu-Jitsu simple and understandable and fun, because we learn Jiu-Jitsu every day, man. I'm still learning. Every day I'm learning Jiu-Jitsu. Every day. Even now, quarantine, I'm looking at the moves.
I always remember you saying in Iceland, when I first met you, somebody asked you a question and you said, I don't know the answer. Do it to me and let me see how the body answers.
Yep. That's the Jiu-Jitsu has to be, and that's the Jiu-Jitsu that you build with sensitivity. So that means it's not just like a physical Jiu-Jitsu, but it's almost like I gotta have my muscle memory to answer those moves. And my muscle memory, other thing that sometimes we don't control, but a good Jiu-Jitsu player, we control our muscle memory. We can dose our muscle memory. I can make the muscle memory 100% engaged, or I can make the muscle memory just 20% engaged. And I can build, when somebody asks me a question, I start with 20%. I let my muscle kind of answer a little bit, and I build until they're 100% muscle memory. So that's the one that probably the black belt, oh, I never seen that before, is in between this area of muscle memory.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's no ending. There's no ending.
I know you've shown us things like a couple of years before, and I've kind of not really understood it. And then a couple of years later, I've seen it again, where you've said it again, but then a couple of years later, I go, oh, that's what he meant 2 years ago when he said do hook. Yeah.
Light bulb. So
Yeah.
those light bulbs, when we start spread those light bulbs to the students, they are all our students, everybody, when we start to understand how to cope with this light bulb idea, we are now walking. Imagine this, a student that needs to learn a mechanic. Imagine the guy walking in a warehouse with one flashlight, and you put the beam of the flashlight in that move. So the beam is, that's the only thing you see is just a move, because your beam is just over there. A Jiu-Jitsu black belt down the road is eventually somebody who can instead put a beam, you can flip a switch and you can make the whole warehouse light. And you can see that move. But by the way, you can see another guy over there doing another move, the same mechanic, but variation or different intensity or different strategy. So what our black belts, what happened with a black belt mindset, that the beam is not just focused in one spot. Our beam is more spread. You know, that makes sense? That way we can more. That's what sometimes you see people, man, I can't believe professor showed me this. I never see this again. I never see this before. Well, because your beam was there. Now the light's on.
Yeah. It sometimes comes to you like in a flash of realization. I'll be somewhere completely different. I'll be shopping and I'll suddenly go, oh, that's what he
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I heard so many times that, and that is a wonderful feeling to get, because people who does this, it's only people who understand Jiu-Jitsu who does that. If you don't understand Jiu-Jitsu, you don't have those kind of questions. You just want to see the move. Show me the move. But
different type of question, if I can. I mean, you've achieved so much in your jiu-jitsu career, and it's, I mean, strange to ask it, because, you know, for us to ask it to most people, they would say, oh, you know, my proudest moment in jiu-jitsu was when I have achieved my X belt or something like this. But for you, you know, you've achieved so much. What is your proudest moment in jiu-jitsu?
man, I want to say my proudest moment in Jiu-Jitsu when I got my black belt.
Really?
Yep. When I got my black belt, man, that was right after Rickson Gracie, you know, when he fought Zulu. I was a brown belt at the time. And when right after that, when I got my black belt, and Helio was the one. Helio kind of gave me some very talk on my ears, you know, and he was very into the Helio knew that I had a little different ability on my hands. And he doesn't want me to teach Jiu-Jitsu nowhere besides the family, besides the Gracie clan or Gracie students. So yeah, that moment when Helio gave me the black belt, man, I was like, man, and Helio wrote something to me. I still have here in my school. I hope your efficient black belt never turn against us. With warm hug, Helio Gracie. That was in 1988. So I think that was a proud moment, because Helio Gracie only gave 16 black belts at the time. It was not so many people was getting black belts. And I watched people getting kicked out from the school as a brown belt, tough guys. And Helio said, no, you don't have what you needed for black belt. You don't have the integrity. You don't have the respect. You don't have Helio always have something. And with me, I went to the end and he gave me the black belt. So I think it was a very proud moment for me to receive from him. And not just that, he was about, I want to say probably 70 years old when he gave me a black belt. And he still wants to grapple with me, man. A little scrappler, man. I was a scrappler. And, but I always respect him. And I always had this kind of admiration for what, not with Jiu-Jitsu, but for my life. You know, I can tell he made me be a better person. Without Jiu-Jitsu, I'll probably be in trouble.
I see you're starting to get the black belt students that you promote to sign on the wall. Have you? Yep. And I know that you were trying to work out how many black belts that you've given out over the years now. Have you got a record? Do you know how many over the years now?
Anywhere between 150 and 180.
Wow.
Somewhere around that, closer to 200, anywhere between that. But that took me 30 years of every day. And it's a different story when somebody trains Jiu-Jitsu, and it's a different story when somebody leaves Jiu-Jitsu. Now, I was putting my gi on 7 days a week for 30 years. You know, that's just kind of crazy. That you gotta be or a little bit crazy or addicted, or whatever. I may addict personality, some kind of personality like that. So for me to promote those black belts, I can tell that no black belt is a slacker. I never promote black belts to be like a world champions or to go to compete. even though we've done several, I don't know if you guys know the back in the beginning, the story of Jiu-Jitsu in the beginning in America. You guys ever heard about the Dave Spaghetti Bancroft? The Dave Bancroft?
No.
No.
You heard about Bill Cooper?
No.
Bill Cooper's a nightmare practitioner. What about the guy? What the guy who has the little hair like this? He's a great practitioner, world champion. He put like a Fowler, Mike Fowler.
Fowler, yeah.
You heard about those kids?
Mm-hmm.
So Bill Cooper, that's a nightmare. One of the incredible jiu-jitsu practitioners. I'm not sure exactly where you come from. Maybe Claudio França or Fabio San. Not sure exactly what. Bill Cooper. What the one was? What the guy that I just said again?
Mike Fowler.
Mike Fowler. Remember Mike? Those two guys. I used to have a student. His name was Dave Bancroft. He's Spaghetti. Spag. He's a character. Spag submit those two guys in the same tournament. Both guys. Spag got many times world championships. The first American practitioner to win a gold medal in Brazil was a purple belt for me.
Wow.
The first one, Mr. Frank Cucci, went to Brazil, 1986 or 87? No, 96 or 97, and took gold medal there.
So who was your first black belt?
My first black belt was Greg Nelson.
Okay.
Greg Nelson. Story for Greg Nelson is this. Greg, in 2001, he got diagnosed with a very aggressive cancer. And used to have two guys that was, I used to have three guys to receive black belts. Sean Weaver, Frank Cucci, and Greg Nelson. Those three guys. Those are the guys that kind of devote the most time, devote the most time on the mat. There was the three guys. Sean Weaver was supposed to be the first one. And I thought, I went to Sean and said, Sean, man, Greg's, I'm scared about his health. I don't think he's going to do it. Maybe he's not do it. So I asked Sean, you'll be offended if I award Greg Nelson his black belt before. It'll be my first black belt. And Sean Weaver, no, professor, no, you do it. It's a very honorable thing to do. So I went there and I gave him a black belt. Now, 20 years later, guess what? Sean Weaver passed away 5 years ago. Greg Nelson still kicking. So that's life. But Sean, it is the outstanding individual that I left in Utah. One of my first black belts in Utah. Well, actually, did first, Sean Weaver. Did first in Utah.
So who's the highest rank that you've promoted to? How many stripes?
I want to say we are starting to follow the IBJJF guidelines for a couple of years. So it's been 2 years that every promotion now we do follow the guidelines of IBJJF. And before that, I was following the original guidelines of the Jiu-Jitsu, the Estado da Guanabara Jiu-Jitsu, they're right, the flag over there? That flag over there, that was the first federation of Jiu-Jitsu. So I used to follow the guidelines. And there was every 3 years a stripe after black belt. But now the IBJJF changed, and I'm following 100%. So I think right now we have Jeff Curran. I believe he got the 4th stripe because I was following the old system. But now everybody's going to be the same.
JJF.
Yeah, everybody's the same. It'll be easy. It'll be easy that way.
It's amazing. Yeah. I can't even think about getting past purple belt, which I'm at the moment. So Jiu-Jitsu for life. Jiu-Jitsu for life. That's all.
Jiu-Jitsu for life. You're gonna get there. You're gonna see. You're gonna change a lot of people's life. You right what I'm telling you.
You won't remember this, but it sticks in my mind vividly. But in Iceland, you gave me my blue belt, and it was the spare blue belt that the guys brought from the club in the UK. It was just the old one that was laying around, and they gave it to you to tie on me, but it was too small. You tied it, but it just about made it. And you said to me, you said, Bill, you either need a bigger belt or you need to lose a few pounds. But history repeats itself, because I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, my eldest boy, he's 9, he's been training now for just over a year, and he got promoted to the grey and white belt, and they bought a belt that was quite small. So they tied it on him and it just about fit. And I was like, oh no, he's exactly the same as me.
Yeah, that does. You see a lot of story.
They will never let me forget that one, these guys. They always tell me, buy a bigger belt, Bill, buy a bigger belt.
Yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu is quite incredible, amigo. We developed this, that's why it's a life kind of, it's almost like man, the longer you stay, it is just a nice, it is, I never met one person that can say, you know what, I'm proud because I quit Jiu-Jitsu. I have not met one person.
Definitely happens.
And I got a lot of friends. I got to say, when I go back to Brazil, I have a lot of friends in Brazil. And early days, we used to hang out, socialize, and do things. And now we see what happened, the way how they grow up, the way how I grow up, the way how we kind of end up to be older. Man, I see my friends, they look like my dad. They get older like my dad. They got a huge belly, complete white hair, complete, their life was too hard on them, on everybody. Jiu-Jitsu help you to kind of navigate, to cruise. And you only worry about things that really matter. When things does not matter, you just give discounts. You give discounts for everything. In life, my friend, that's the way how to make your life. Imagine how you want to make your life easier. You want people to be comfortable around you. You don't want people to be intimidated around you. I don't like to see people fear. I'm fearful of this guy. I'm scared of him. No, you have to be comfortable. And Jiu-Jitsu is nothing better than to make people comfortable. It's a great equalizer.
Completely agree.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so grateful that I've had a chance to sit and talk to you this evening. I think everybody else should be very, very happy that they've also had the chance to hear from you as well.
I appreciate it, amigo.
I think you
We've got quite a few people.
Is there any questions on there, Rob?
There was just one from Haldor, actually. He said, in your competition years, who was your main opponent and what was your favourite match?
My main opponent was Euler. We went to the end of the bracket every tournament. Every tournament. We went to the end of the bracket. I never been a very competitive guy. I was very weak as a child. When I talk about weak, I was pretty skinny guy. I was in the party time as a kid. Didn't learn Jiu-Jitsu. Man, my life would be gone. And when I arrived in Jiu-Jitsu, I was like a little stick. And I mean stick, no muscle at all. And, I used to gas out quick, but I was like a pit bull. I used to have a big heart. But physicality, never been my, if you see my dad and you see my uncles, they're all like this. Stick, small, like Helio, Gracie, 140 pounds people. That's how my dad was. And I have brothers at 300 pounds. That's my family. So I think I got the physicality from my mom's side, and I might have the mindset from my dad's side. That's the kind of, what I feel that happened with my family.
Any others on there, Rob? Or was that it?
Let's have it. Go through.
So how many people's watching this?
We've got, I think we had about 20 a little while ago. It's going up and down. Obviously, some more people will watch it afterwards, non-live. I'm trying to scroll through and find it.
Bill, I think you need to explain the.
We got one.
Oh, I don't want to ask.
Let's do that.
All right. So silly game idea, but do you have the game, like the card game in America, Top Trumps? So it's like a card and it has lots of different like numbers on it, and you try and win the cards from your opponents. Have you ever come across that game before? It's this was my worry that it might not it might not make sense, but there's a card game called Top Trumps, and you know, it might be like, if it was cars, you'd have a Porsche, a Ferrari, you know, all of the different kind of cars, and there would be different scores, so like the top speed, the brake horsepower, these sorts of things. And I think it would be a fantastic idea to come up with a Pedro Sauer Pedro Sauer black belt Top Trumps. And I think I haven't come up with all of the different scores yet, or I don't know enough of your black belts well enough, but we need to come up with some metrics to start scoring people. But yeah, so like, you know, Jeff Curran obviously springs to mind. Mike Diaz always gets mentions. Is it James Gardner?
James Gardner.
You know, these people, and it's a secret little ploy as well to try and work out who we need to try and line up to talk to in these types of podcasts as well. Who should we try and talk to? So
Yeah.
who should be in the game, Master Sauer? Who should be in the game?
Oh my goodness, we got a tons of people, Bill. I think we have some characters. I gotta say that. We do have characters, but there's gonna be we have to try to make some Google search, because we have close to 200 black belts.
Yeah, I think we need to start doing some research on this, I think, and start pulling it together. Could be good.
What do you think the best, like to help build this game? What do you think the best attributes for a really good black belt are? What do you think are the like key personality and like physical traits that make someone, and mental things that make someone a good black belt?
Well, first of all, is dedication. You know, if you're not a dedicated guy, it's not gonna happen. And the second one might be your physicality, like the way how you kind of, you know, take care of your body, elasticity, mobility, super important, and of course the understanding. I don't put too much effort on the strength, holding strength, because I believe if you use like the bone. So if I try to squeeze this, put a bone in between, I'm not going to be able to squeeze the bone. If I hold the egg and I squeeze the egg in some angles, I'm not going to be able to break. Even if I go here, it's going to be hard to break it. But if I change the angle, I can break. So the attributes for a black belt, for a good black belt, should be a good discipline, a guy who commit himself on the mat. You know, think about longevity. Don't speed up belts. Don't award belts. Don't give belts away ever. Make sure that everybody earn it. Make everybody equal. Treat everybody the same. And you're gonna notice that from that pool, once another guy is gonna come up, is gonna kind of pop a little bit. But we have to kind of think about this guy now is popping out because he is physically way more gift. Oh, this other guy, he is popping out because he understood jiu-jitsu a lot better. My personal opinion, go always with the one that understands jiu-jitsu. Always. So don't pick guys that's kind of getting a little bit too quick or getting a little bit too fast or trying to push. No, got to do this a little bit more energy, a little bit. You know, try to find the guys, try to find the strategy, the guys that's going to put you guys, hey, let's be patient, calm down, be patient. Bait your opponent, show this hand, escape with their hand over there. Try to utilize this kind of strategy every day. The moment you make work the first time, man, you're gonna start because think about this. Sometimes you try in errors for years. A good guy, a good black belt, think about that. A good brown belt that's been trained for a long time, and you train hard all the time. And let's imagine if you decide to put a thought in your mind here. Hey, my challenge here is going to be I gotta be like that guy over there. I'm going to put effort towards that guy. One day I want to tap him. And you spend 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, year and a half, 2 years, nothing happened. But 2 years later, 3 years later, 4 years later, you might catch him one. That moment on doesn't put you in a better spot, like but start to think about, oh, I achieved that. The reason I brought this up here is that I had one of my best friends in Brazil. We started jiu-jitsu together. 1975, we start together. And this guy was 300 pounds. And I was 135, maybe, in a good days. Man, this guy, he tapped me for 10 years. 10 years. He spanked me every day for 10 years. But after 10 years, I caught him once. I was a black belt when I catch him. One time I caught him. And after I caught him once, every training we did, I caught him. But look at the patient, what the patient means. It took me 10 years. So that's the kind of black belt you'll be looking for. Hey, for longevity, if you think that way, you will get there. Might take longer. I started this conversation with 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but for me, it took me 10. But how you guys, you can measure this. There was?
There's no rush. It's
no rush.
It's just, it's a journey, and it's a good fun one as well.
The most important is make sure that every people who come to your dojo start to be scientists. They have to be understand jiu-jitsu like scientists. We make this, we are gonna be awarded with the prize because we are multiply ourselves. We multiply good people. That's the beauty. We are making people better people, better humans, better practitioners. And because you put this effort to them, this is the number one benefit. Down the road, when we all get 60, 70, 80, and 90 years old, let's talk about this. That's what's going to boil down, my friend. It's not going to be whoever going to have the biggest banking account or bigger house or fast car. What you done it? Why have you done it? Kind of, you're going to leave this place here better than you found it? How many trees did you plant it?
Exactly. On that, I mean, we not long ago, Pete and Rob started the children's program. And I mean, that's the part of the program that's working kind of the best in this situation, because the children are training with their parents. We demonstrate, we show them a move to practice, and they practice on their parents on the Zoom camera like this. And they're doing fantastic. But I mean, I can't even begin to think what it would feel like if a child that starts with you like really young stays with you all the way through, and you can, you know, see them become an amazing adult. And you know, have you ever had somebody go right the way through with you from yeah?
Many.
Yeah.
You ever heard Ricky, little Ricky Landell?
Yeah. Ricky, yeah. He
Little
wins on the physical attributes as well, right? He's a bit of a beast, right?
But he was like a 7 years old, like this big, man.
Wow. So he started at 7 with you. Wow.
My daughter, I have videos of my daughter, Thaisa, spanking Ricky. And I mean spanking. Daddy, give me somebody else. Him again, over and over and over and over. Little girl.
Wow.
Look at little Ricky, what came to be. Morgan Perkins over there in Bangkok. Paul Sizemore, who passed away. John Wanai, Paul, Mike Diaz, Jeff Curran. Look at Jeff. Jeff was 8. Yeah. Remember Jeff, little kid, man.
I remember the videos from the DVDs. He was young then.
Man, he was a little tiny kid.
Wow.
Little Jeff, I met him 3 months after his dad passed. So I think I took maybe a father, kind of more like a older figure. I saw so many kids, so many people that, and in Utah, I go back to Utah. I used to teach the kids class there myself. Man, I had, now I want to say probably close to 100 kids. Wow. that got exposed, and today they're men's. And I'm pretty sure they're pretty successful. I'm pretty sure a little, like I said, I put the seed is there. If you want to water the seed, my friend, you're going to have a plant. I just want to put the seed, the idea. Now water the plant. Go plant your trees, plant your garden. Don't expect nobody to plant the garden for you. Plant your own garden, plant your own trees.
I'd love to have this conversation again in 20 years' time, and we compare notes on how many trees we grew.
I will send you a picture, a shot. I have 2 forests. I'll talk about forest.
Yeah.
each forest with probably 1,000 trees. I planted two forests.
Amazing.
Yeah, I started planting in from 1977 until 1990. I planted in one area.
Mhm.
And in 2000, I started planting another area. Now 2020, 20 years later, we got it is
Forest.
a jungle, it's a forest
Where is that? Is that in Brazil?
in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, metropolis.
Oh, one day.
Set up your time, guys, because Petropolis, if you guys ever go to Brazil, Petropolis is a paradise. Safe, one of the most incredible air that you're going to breathe in your life. 100% pure oxygen. And nice people, great academies there. We have a beautiful location. We have a place there with our own waterfall. Can you imagine just walk in your backyard and have a waterfall?
Seen the pictures. One day, it's on the bucket list. I'd like to see you there one day.
It's well worth it. It's well worth it, every penny. You 10 days over there, you come back a new man. A new
It's a
man.
promise to myself. See you there one day.
Yeah.
Let me know if I can do anything to help you guys. You know, anybody who run a school, you bring 5 guys, you come as a comp. Huh? You know that, right?
Yeah.
So think
Yeah.
about that. It's well worth it. You're gonna have so much fun. The ticket is cheap. The camp is super cheap. To pay for the camp, the meals are delicious. We pretty much eat filet mignon every night, every day.
Oh,
Yeah, we gotta,
you'll never get rid of me. I'll move in forever.
man. We got some. You heard about the Brazilian barbecue?
Yeah.
We do those Brazilian barbecue like Saturday, Sunday to kind of break a little bit. Saturday and Sunday to kind of break the routine.
Mm.
It's delicious, man. We invite other people from coming. It's a nice social gathering. It's a good, the nice thing that can keep a lot of people motivated. When you come back, man, you come back full of.
Look forward to it. So yeah, I'm awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure, Bill. I appreciate my pleasure, Bill, Robin, Peter. I really appreciate all you guys, and I'm thankful for all you guys doing over there. Stay motivated. Don't worry. Let this dust come down. We're gonna get back better. You wait, better. You see, you are gonna have better people in your mats from now on.
These weekly chats refuel me and get me through the next week without jiu-jitsu. I think I'm about to start wrestling with the dog on the floor when I put the Skype down, because I just can't wait. You won't know what's hitting when I start, RNC in the dog. But yeah,
It's still the way, amigo. We gotta be positive in life, man. Life is too good. We gotta use the best we can all the time. Man.
yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My pleasure,
Yeah.
man. I appreciate Bill. I appreciate Robin and Pete. Tell all my best for everybody there in England, and I've got all my best wishes for the family, for all you guys together, and all the students, everybody, man. Let's stay together. We're all gonna
Definitely.
rise together.
Yeah,
Thank you so
definitely.
much.
And stay safe. And I'll bring this to. Oh, I've got to remember how every time. I've only done this like 5 times, and I forget how to stop it every time properly. Hang on. Okay, so we'll stop.